My name is Damon Brandt. I'm an art dealer, a native New Yorker, and I've got an insatiable passion for cooking. Today I'm going to do a dish of quinoa, tomatoes, and prawns, covered with pignoli nuts and chives, and a side of rocket baby pea shoots and beautiful ripe figs. So let's get started. First I wash my hands. It makes everybody feel better about my cooking dinner. I take the quinoa, about a cup, and I place it into a pan that has just a little drizzle of oil. I place 2 cups of either vegetable stock or combination of vegetable stock and water. Let it come to a boil, put the cover on, and let it simmer, usually for a good 12 minutes. The recipe calls for sun-dried tomatoes, which I chop finely and will add to the quinoa just before it's finished. Once that's done, I take these exquisitely ripe and beautiful figs. I take a paring knife, take off the top stem, which is the only part of the fig which is inedible, and I cut them into quarters, revealing this exquisitely beautiful red seeded interior. I place those on the salad. This salad is drizzled with a little bit of thick, dark, and tasty olive oil, and then finished off with a reduction balsamic vinegar, which has a very sweet, almost syrupy taste. As the quinoa continues to simmer, I turn my attention to these prawns. I give them a quick rinse, shake them out in a colander, and place 4 of them on a cutting board. I personally don't mind keeping the heads on, but for the squeamish, sometimes it's better to take them off. You remove the armor around the main body, and I like to leave the tail for aesthetic purposes and for those like me who like to eat with their hands. It's a perfect handle. Once the body armor is off, I take a very sharp paring knife, and I must emphasize sharp. Much more fun to cook with sharp implements than dull. You use the paring knife, and you very carefully score the top along the back, a technique called butterflying, which will open up the back of the shrimp and expose a vein which can be removed. Not only is it a good idea to remove the vein for taste reasons, but the act of butterflying the shrimp will make it a much more beautiful final presentation. Once the shrimp are prepared, I take a pan, drizzle a little bit of olive oil, not too much, and I take my pine nuts, which in Italian are called pignoli, and I grab a handful of those and put them in the pan, making sure all of the nuts are coated with a thin skin of oil. I have another pot boiling with water, about 2.5 inches, 3 inches, not much. I throw the 4 shrimp into the boiling water for really less than a minute, which is called parboiling. It allows them to be partially cooked, and then they can be transferred to a pan to be finished. I take them out of the pan, draining the water in a colander, and the shrimp can then be transferred into the pan with the pignoli nuts. Chives can be chopped into the pan with a pair of scissors, and then it's ready to be served. Once you have a certain fluffiness to the quinoa, you can then take the sun-dried tomatoes, throw them into the quinoa, and gently fluff the quinoa while mixing in the sun-dried tomatoes. Make sure the flame is off so that the quinoa doesn't burn. Put it off to the side, and this will be the basis of your dish. Now everything is ready to serve. The quinoa gets transferred to a bowl with the sun-dried tomatoes. The shrimp with the pignoli nuts gets placed onto the bowl with your hands, with a wooden spoon, whatever you're comfortable with. Chives are cut over the top. A final drizzle of the balsamic vinegar is placed over the figs and the baby pea shoot and rocket leaves, and you're ready to eat. I hope you've enjoyed watching me cook, and it infuses you with the same passion for produce, for color, for texture, and for eating that I have. Thank you.